Absolutely.
All right. Well, I guess Aaron, if you want, we'll go over here. You have all sort of a history of all your life cards, and we'll take a look at that. You can provide sort of a timeline
Yeah,
for that,
sure,
and then I guess go on to the facility.
sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned.
Want to shoot some more?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. So you're saying this is sort of the history of the life cards?
Yeah, we've got that very first wooden model that I built in probably the fall or winter of 2010, and then immediately beside it, the first prototype that was built probably a year after that, the fall of 2011, and then a very, very early prototype with different types of latches there. Determined that those were not really that safe, their location and the ease of depressing them and unlocking them. The fourth one there is just another early prototype after we changed the latches to the kind of the current style that we have now. And this just shows the first operation in the CNC machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's there for. This one is one of the, I guess these next three are some of the development. This was the first in a pre-production run that we did that was almost perfect, and these are all part of that run. We did 100 guns, and we only built probably about 15 of those, and a few people got those. The rest of them we kept. Didn't really want to produce those commercially. I wanted to make a few changes, most notably probably the whole padlock hole. We eliminated that, and it's just on the striker. We increased this radius on the barrel so that it would fit in an Altoids tin.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is serial number 1001, which is what we started production, commercial production, and this is serial number 1002, and it's an interesting difference here. This one's labeled Asheville, North Carolina, and this one's labeled Fletcher, North Carolina.
Okay.
And those took place. We changed our FFL premise address during this time. So this is the last one that goes to Asheville, and the first one for Fletcher. So I just kept both of those.
Yeah.
These were, in our first probably 6 months, and they were the first attempts at doing some Cerakote we had done locally here, and that's really all that's showing.
Mm-hmm.
This one right here is nickel plated. It's the only one that I've had done that way, and it was what we call, we didn't really make a generational change, but we did add the flag,
Mm-hmm.
and we changed the location of the serial number. We made a couple of minor tweaks that we needed to do, that we felt like we needed to do. So that was sort of a milestone. We got to serial number 3500. We had produced 2,500 guns at that point.
Okay.
This one marks what we call Gen 2, which had some additional changes, and it's when we started offering 22 Magnum commercially instead of just as a barrel change. There are a number of notable differences. The main one is that the barrel will self-close at this point. We added the lanyard hole, and we eliminated the visible pivot pin that was in every gun prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
So that starts at serial number 9700. Actually, serial number 9700 went to a magazine writer, so 9701 is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
This is showing something that not everybody realizes, that we've pretty much reinvested everything that we could to get our price point down. And so these are metal injection molded, or MIM parts,
Mm-hmm.
the striker and the trigger. This was kind of when those took place. Those work remarkably better than the machined parts,
Mhm.
and they're a lot less expensive. This is a solid brass LifeCard that we did with the idea that we were gonna maybe sell it as a special edition. It was determined that it was too expensive, and it's also almost twice as heavy as the aluminum model. So
Gotcha.
we did not continue with that, but it's kind of cool. It's
Okay.
fun. This is brand new, really, in the last 2 weeks. This is our polymer handled LifeCard, again with an eye to getting the price point down. We've replaced the aluminum, 3 aluminum parts that that make the handle, the side plate, and the storage lid for the ammo storage with polymer instead of aluminum. And we're doing that right now for just our 22 LR. And sneak peek, this barrel's threaded for a thread adapter to go to a suppressor. That's coming soon. We've not officially launched that, but that's coming pretty soon.
So that's a YouTube exclusive first peek right there.
Yeah, you got it. There it is. We actually have them. Just waiting on the thread adapters now,
Okay.
and we'll make a run of those probably and offer them. This I just keep here because I think it's kind of cool. This was 3D printed. It's not functional. It doesn't fold or anything.
Right.
We just printed it in one piece. And here's my 3D printer here. That's a $200 Amazon printer, and I print from it almost every day.
Okay.
It's part of it's kind of my first step in product development. After we draw something up, we print it out and feel it and mess with it and see what needs to be changed.
Nice. So you're saying the polymer is going? I know you just made the announcement yesterday, I guess, through the email. So yeah, you're saying the prices is going down. And
Yeah. So the new MSRP is $299 down from $399. And then, in addition, we've adjusted the MSRP on the all-metal gun, which is now going to be offered in 22 Magnum only, and we've adjusted that down to $349 from $399. So, pretty significant price reduction. We've not had a price reduction in the 2.5 years we've been on the market. So, we've been steady there at $399 from where we started it.
It's really cool. And so, what's the difference between the 22 long rifle and the 22 Magnum? Or what is Magnum? Because I'm seeing WMR.
Yeah, so
on some of these.
WMR stands for Winchester Magnum Rimfire. That's a pretty old name. 22 long rifle, that's the LR, was a progression from the original cartridge, I believe was a 22 short, or I believe that's what it was. It probably wasn't called 22 short originally. It was probably called something else. But that cartridge got lengthened, and then it got lengthened and more powder added to make the LR, I believe, is how it developed. That's all information available on Wikipedia. But the Magnum is significantly longer than the long rifle cartridge, and the case is slightly larger in diameter, although they do use the same bullet.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't fired a 22 Magnum yet, so hopefully we can do that.
We'll do that today.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So back and forth in history. How many years would you say going from this initial idea?
We're exactly 9 years in right now, which that was 7 years from the time I came up with the idea until we got it into commercial production.
Awesome.
So we're 9 years in now.
Very cool.
Half a lifetime. I've got my original sketches if you want to see them. The first things I drew.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the earliest sketches that you can find.
Yeah, so I just took a hotel key card. I was traveling at the time, and I traced the outline, and then I just started working on fitting parts into it. And you know, it's pretty similar to what we ended up with. I mean, definitely the same size and shape.
Now I know some people have gone back and forth. Is this the smallest gun in the world for public purchase, or?
I think that is the smallest commercially available gun currently. I'm not the Guinness Book of World Records, and I haven't reached out to them, but from everything that I see, I think it is.
Because there's no other firearm that'll fit in the Altoids can.
That's kind of the way I look at it. Yeah.
Definitely most concealable. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's maybe a Guinness will reach out or something and figure out. So Aaron, I'm going back over. I'm seeing this little divot in this this first generation LifeCard. What is this?
That's a knife blade. My original prototype and concept had a pocket knife blade, and it also, well, so I'll show you that first. There's the pocket knife blade. It'd be used somewhat like that. And the other idea was that you would carry a fire starter in the barrel. So that's just like, it's shaped like a 22 cartridge, and then it's got a little ferro rod.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the idea being that you'd have the ability to, I don't know if I can do it with this one, but you'd have the ability to start a fire, and you'd have a 22. And this particular one, I was going for having 6 shells. This didn't work out because there was no good way to retain the shells in there.
Yeah.
But that's the idea, the original idea.
Definitely a LifeCard. Great for camping, survival.